Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chukwuka Samuel Isaac, and I'll be anchoring today's webinar. This is a continuation of our webinar series, the proactive webinar series from Cyber Plural. And as you all know, Cyber Plural is a managed security service provider. We're located here in Abuja, and with the visibility in Lagos as well. So today we'll be looking at a topic that is very, very sensitive, and we have an expert to help us, do justice to it. We'll be looking at the topic threat intelligence in security operation, how important it is, the need for threat intelligence when you are carrying out your security operations. And after this, we also have Hamzat Latif to take us through what we should be expecting when it comes to threat landscape in Q3. Of course, he did an analysis of there are the reports to that as well on what's happened in the Q2. So in this Q3, he's going to based on analysis and past happenings, what we should be expecting in this Q3. So questions will be taken while for each of them presenting. You feel free to drop your question in the chat box, and be sure that your questions will be attended to. So for the threat intelligence, as it regards security operations, we have Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a threat intelligence analyst here at Cyber Plural, and she will be doing justice to this topic. Elizabeth, if you're ready, you have the floor now. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be here, and this is nice to be here on this proactive webinar series organized by Cyber Plural Nigeria Limited here in Abuja, Nigeria. I'm happy to be here. My name is Oloyede Olajumoke Elizabeth, and I'm going to be sharing my screen now so that we can move. Okay. You're welcome once again to the proactive webinar series that is anchored by Cyber Plural Nigeria Limited, Abuja in Nigeria. Okay, this is a series where we talk about how to stay proactive in your various organizations. And today we'll be looking at threat intelligence in security operations. Threat intelligence in security operations. So the bedrock of this webinar series today is for you to understand what is threat intelligence, how can you go about it, how do you merge it up to improve your security operations, and then what are the things to expect while we look at how to start your own threat intelligence program, as the case may be. Once again, I'm Oloyede Olajumoke Elizabeth, and I'm a cyber threat intelligence analyst here in Cyber Plural. So these are the things we are going to be working through. It's not that much, but it's going to worth much more of your time. Okay, so we're going to look at the different myth and fact about threat intelligence, what people think threat intelligence is, and what it is really, and why threat intelligence beneficiaries. We're going to be looking at that, the types of threat intelligence and threat intelligence residents, life cycle of threat intelligence. Then we are going to look at, since we are looking into security operations, it is ideal for us to look into Security Operations Center, SOC. So we look into SOC, we look into who works there, and what are SOC products, SOC and threat intelligence product. Then we'll also look into threat intelligence product itself. And from there, we bring it down home to the use case. How do we use threat intelligence in security operations? Then we look into how to create your own threat intelligence program and some tips to help you. Okay, so what do people think threat intelligence is, and what What is it really? Some people think threat intelligence is sitting in front of logs and, you know, having a big screen, looking at a big screen, sitting in front of logs, just staring at it. But that is not what it is. Threat intelligence is about performing internal and external hunting. Like you have to go inside of your organization and then outside. These are some of the things we're going to be discussing on how to do that. Some people think threat intelligence is firewall configuration. No, it's about gathering in IOCs. What do we call IOCs? IOCs means indicator of compromise, which are their digital artifacts that is linked to a particular threat actors or a security incident. Okay, and some people think also that threat intelligence is copying and pasting security news. No, for you to be a threat intelligence analyst, you need to read a lot. Sometimes you may not detect things in your environment. Sometimes it might not be in your environment, but it might be close to your environment. So that it is close to your environment means that it has happened to some people beside you. So you need to read about it, okay? So it's reading and analyzing security articles. That's threat intelligence. And one last thing I want you to take home, if at all you don't remember anything from this webinar series, is that threat intelligence is not rocket science. It takes steps, ideal steps, and it is not about working alone. You have to move with other people, even down to the non-security professionals. You need to talk to them about all of those things. So it's networking with other industry peers to understand threat involvement. You know, threat generally keeps evolving day by day. All right, so while we have established this, I want us to go into cyber threat intelligence properly. So when we talk about cyber threat intelligence, intelligence can be traced back to many, many decades with military and other law enforcement, where they look into logic thinking, logic planning, and critical thinking and problem solving in a particular event or a particular incident. Okay, so the history can be traced back to the military. It can be traced back to the law enforcement, other law enforcement agency, and or before internet even comes into being. Okay, so there have been this sort of intelligence all around. And in fact, some people call themselves private intelligence, private investigator. Okay, so now that internet is here to stay, we are now in an era where we practically live our life on the internet, and that is why security comes to play. Okay, and when we talk about threat intelligence, is an act of gathering, collating, and analyzing information about various types of threats. There are different types of threats. I want to believe you know that. Affected system, that is if a security incident happen, take place in your environment. Detection mechanisms, tools and processes used to exploit vulnerabilities and motivations of attackers. Yeah, I need to add that motivation of attackers, because when you understand the reason for a thing, I think it's very easy for you to understand, have a good understanding of the whole thing. Okay, so that is why I have to put in the motivations of attackers. And generally speaking, in my own definition, I say that CTI is a process of transforming raw cyber threat data into intelligence that is actionable in decision making. Okay, so I need you to know that threat intelligence is not just about going to collect different types of feeds alone. is about converting those raw information that you have into intelligence that is actionable. Let's say, for example, you work in a financial institute, and recently there have been a threat. Recently, I think recently there have been a troop from of software developers from Nigeria to other countries. And there's a particular social engineering tactics that's now moving all around for job role and all that, where they make employees of their target company to go through different stages of interview just to make it look real. Meanwhile, it is not real. And then at the end of the day, they tell them that they've given them, they've decided to bring them on board and then to take them as a staff, while sending an attachment that is downloadable. And once it's downloaded, they have their way in the organization's network. So that is the recent one that is coming up, that is currently ongoing, a threat that is currently ongoing. Okay, so the CTI of it is that you understand their tactic, you understand their techniques rather. Their technique now is with social engineering, with job application. Their tactics is that they will make you to go through all of the interview process, and then at the end of the day, they'll say, okay, you've passed, we are willing to take you and all, and then they send you an attachment which is downloadable, that once you download it, you have downloaded their malicious payload. So having a good understanding of this threat will now help you to make actionable decisions that you send out to your staff, to your colleagues, and to stakeholders around, that they should be wary of social engineering in form of job application outside there, just for the security posture for the benefit of security posture of your company. Okay, that is what we call threat intelligence. It is actionable. Okay, so that is threat intelligence. So when we talk about threat intelligence, I grew up on the street where people move with goods and products, and then they tell you that this is what this product will do for you. They tell you the benefit of it before even talking about the money or before talking about how to use it. So in that same strategy, I'm using it to bring to you that a threat intelligence is beneficiary. And who are the beneficiary of threat intelligence? The very first one is the Security Operations Center analyst. And before I go there, our topic says threat intelligence in security operations. So when we talk about security operations, what is security operations? It refers to business combining internal information security and IT operations practice to reduce risk. That is security operation. So we are combining information security and IT, other IT best practices to reduce risk from in our organization. So that is security operations. So now there is no harm going to talk about security operation without talking about the Security Operations Center. And we all know that we have people called SOC analysts. Okay, so one of the beneficiaries of the threat intelligence is a SOC analyst, whether it's tier 1 or tier 2. Okay, as you know, SOC analyst monitors, they monitors, they prevent, and then they work around the clock to prevent all sorts of threats from happening in your environment. So one of the benefits of it is that threat intelligence will be able to provide them with evolving trends of threats, such as phishing, like just the example I just gave now. You can give it to them that in case. So we need you to monitor the email of of our staffs, something like that, okay? So it also provide other indicators of compromise for them to look out for, such as malware hashes, malicious IP addresses, domain names, and all sorts of things, you get? So the second beneficiary is security analyst, which we also term tier two of a SOC analyst. Okay, a security analyst will also benefit from threat intelligence by reducing false positives. Okay, since is saddled with the responsibility of analysis. Tier one is saddled with the responsibility of monitoring. Tier two is saddled with the responsibility of more of analysis. Okay, so it also helps them to reduce false positive, and it helps them in automation as well, automating the indicators of compromise for easy analysis. Security engineers, yeah, they also have a very good benefit from threat intelligence by having a good overview of active threat actors. Well, the big whale out of them is the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer. Its threat intelligence relieves him of different kind of stress that is attached to security incidents. So because we now have threat intelligence that is up and doing, there is reduction in dwell time, there is reduction in security incidents happening in the organization. So those are the beneficiaries of threat intelligence. Now that you now know the benefits of threat intelligence, what are the different types of threat intelligence? We have the OSINT. There are different types of them. We have OSINT, that's the open source intelligence, publicly available information. And please, let me say this, I say this a lot when I talk about OSINT, that it is publicly available does not mean it is not valuable. Do you get that? So that information is publicly available and is not secretive does not mean it is not valuable. Publicly available information are also valuable. So get that into your mind. So open source intelligence, we also have HUMINT, human source intelligence, where you interact with threat actors for the benefit of communication and collection of different tactics, techniques, and procedures from such actors. We also have geographical intelligence. We have cyber intelligence. This cyber intelligence encompasses all source intelligence, including OSINT and HUMINT. Okay, we have SIGINT, is signal intelligence. SIGINT and GeoSINT is normally used by people working in fusion centers. What I mean by fusion centers are people involved in monitoring cyber warfare, cyber terrorism, and all. Okay, so those are the different types of threat intelligence. Why introducing threat intelligence? I mentioned it that threat intelligence is not alone. It works with other parts of the security operations of an organization. So a threat intelligence works with the SOC analyst, a threat intelligence works with the risk analyst, a threat intelligence will work with the incident responder. It also works with the digital forensic analyst. All in all is to tell you that a threat intelligence analyst is in between all of these other things. And that's why some people say threat intelligence is not is not in blue team, it's not in red team, it's in between, and we call it a purple team. Okay, so if you do a threat intelligence in security operations in your organization, what are the things that you are expecting? What are the products that you are expecting? The first one is operational products. Operational product encompasses all source intelligence. Yeah, and it is usually sector-based. It tells you the operations of a particular threat, actors. You gather information about the actor, okay? And it is usually urgent. Operational product of threat intelligence is usually urgent. Why did I say it's usually urgent? A very good example of that is, a very good example of that is when your organization's data is leaked on the dark web. That is an operational intelligence. It calls for an active, urgent action. Okay, and that is what we call operational. It is very, very urgent, and it is sector-based. And before you can get this, that means you have to be doing it more often and often. Then the second product is tactical. It consists of the tactics, the techniques and procedures, and also the indicators of compromise of threats across. This is particular to the Security Operations Center, like you feed them with it, and urgency depends on the severity. It depends. If the vulnerability or the indicator of compromise is high, is critical to a particular asset in your organization, that means it's very urgent and you need to look into it. And then the last one is strategical. This strategic one is informing the CISO and other stakeholders, decision makers about the evolving threat landscape. You need to keep them abreast, more like what we do here on this webinar series, by keeping you abreast on the things to look out for. So that is the strategical threat intelligence product. Now, quickly, let's talk about SOC. I know you know, I believe that some of you know about SOC, where you see a big screen that people watch and keep an eye on. So a Security Operations Center is used to monitor, to detect, to investigate, and respond to cyber threats all around the clock. I know we are in this part of the country where we don't do shifts as a SOC analyst. We tend to do everything like that. But in developed country, they do shifts on their SOC, whereby some are for day and some are for night. So a Security Operations Center teams are charged with monitoring and protecting different information and information assets. Now, who works in a Security Operations Center? All of these people works there. The security manager is the managerial position that looks or that manages the whole activities of the Security Operations Center, and he oversees all the security systems and all. Then we have the SOC analyst is next. Those are the ones responsible for monitoring, managing, and configuring security tools. Then we also have the incident responder. The incident responder remediates serious attack once it is detected by SOC analysts. Okay, and we have the threat hunter. That's the one inside. So you will notice the overlaying stages. One look all on everyone just to have an oversight. The other one is on managing. The next is on remediating. And then the last one that is deep inside and is one of the core group is the threat intel or hunter. It works proactively to set out weaknesses, to look out for weaknesses in the business, in the information and information system of an organization, of an enterprise network. Now, when you now combine SOC and threat intelligence together, when you integrate them together, what do they give you? I like to talk about results before I now take you through the processes of achieving that result, okay? So the first thing is that it helps incident responder in their investigation by providing IOCs and TTVs. So when SOC and meet up with TI, all things being equal, it helps them, it increases, it reduces the dwell time of attack and also proactively stage the organization's network in a defensive manner, in a defensive angle. Then it also produces new SOC toolset integration. That is when you get to know the different products you use in your SOC. Maybe they are good enough for you or not, based on the things that are the product of threat intelligence. Then threat intelligence tools and source verification. So when the two of them start working together, don't forget people that work in SOC. So we are talking about the incident response, the SOC manager and all that. So integrating all of these people together with their effective delivery. the effective delivery of their different roles. We help you to verify and to validate TI tools and sources. So that's when you look at it, okay, I think on what you bring in last time is not too correct. Maybe you should look out to another source, something like that. You verify SOC tools in their environment. That's one of the things I said earlier, that integrating SOC and threat intel together will help you to solidify your tools. You will not just, it helps you to filter the noises. You will not just have different tools, okay? You will not just have many tools that are just there doing little or nothing. Intelligence report. Okay, so how do you go about threat? So the use case I have here is a financial institute. I assume this industry is a financial institute. So what are the things that a threat intel will? It is customer attacks. So when we talk about customer attacks, we talk about customers' bank account, credit card, debit card, phishing, smishing, and phishing. Okay, so you monitor their trends, the way is going. You monitor if there is any new involvement. So those are the things that you monitor as a threat intelligence analyst. You monitor all those and then you feed the security operations, all of these things. So that is it. Another thing is employee attacks. While you look at your customers, you also look at your employee. In a typical financial institute, okay? In a typical financial institute, your customers and your employees, infrastructure are the three main critical assets that a financial institute have, especially their customer. They don't joke with them. So that is why you need to look into the criticality of each of these things to monitor. We've talked about the customer attack. So you look into different attacks that you think a customer might be subjected to. Okay? That you think a customer can be subjected to. And employee. So what if the customer is not subjected to any attack? What about the employee? What about your colleagues in the banks or in the financial institute? What if they're subjected to a particular attack? So you look into phishing, you look into smishing, you look into executive protection as well. Some of our top executives, they don't really know cybersecurity as such. So you will also need to look into it. One of the major attacks that threat actors do take up on executives is whaling. They look into them and then they just send in a trap. Another major thing that you need to monitor as a threat intel for it to fit into security operations is infrastructure attacks. Here, I advise that you have an inventory of your infrastructure, the application, the services that you run as a financial institute. Then you'll be able to monitor for various applications vulnerabilities. You'll be able to monitor for different malicious hashes, for different malicious IP address and domain names that is connected to such infrastructure. And generally, general threat landscape too. You need to check it often and often. There are some of these vendor-based organizations in cybersecurity that offers a very good overview, and one of them is CyberPura. We do that a lot, okay? And point of contact, how will you now do all of this? So don't forget, I assume this is a financial institute and you want to integrate threat intelligence into your security operations. How will you do it? So you need to have contact with fraud desk. Ask them, when last did a customer come to report fraud? How did it happen? Those are the things that will give you an insight. Physical security, you also need to look into your physical security, especially on infrastructure attacks, especially. Then you look into your SOC environment. What are the things that keeps coming to their faces like alert and all that. Then you also talk to your risk assessment manager. What are the risks that we are currently looking at? What are the things that we are currently looking to reduce in our organization? Those are your point of contact. And lastly, the general information security, where we talk about policies, we talk about procedures in an organization. Okay, so what if my industry, I have this question in mind, like, what if my industry is not financial sector? How will I do the threat intelligence and security operations centers integration for effective or for a defensive security operations in an organization? How will I do it? So these are some of the questions to ask yourself. What are specific threat actors that is common to your industry? Like I mentioned earlier, I said every industry have their peculiarity, their threat peculiarity. So you need to know that. So what are the specific threat actors? Why are they targeting you? Why are they targeting you? And what are they targeting? For example, this is for a financial institute. They target customer, they target their ATM. ATM is one of their infrastructure. They target their transaction system, one of their infrastructure. They target their backend system. So when you have a good understanding of this, you'll be able to line it out. Okay, what are the things? What made up our backend system? What are the technologies? And then you'll be able to monitor for different technologies that made up the backend system of the organization. So what are their tactics, techniques, and procedures? When you have been able to identify the specific threat actors, there are various information online on different security blogs and all that tells about the tactics, technique, and procedures of each of these. A very good resource of that is the MITRE, ATT, and CK website. You'll find a whole lot of things there. How can we find them? Where will you go to? Is it to their forum? Is it to the dark web? Is it to a vendor-based, what is it called? Vendor-based security article or blog post? Where will you find them? That's the next question you need to ask yourself and ask and provide answers to. Then what are the critical vulnerabilities in our system? You need to ask that. How will you get access to updates on vulnerabilities of your system, that particular technology you are using? Let's assume you are using a Cisco firewall. Where will you get release of different critical vulnerabilities about that particular application? Yes, how will you get it? So those are the things you will look into and have it documented while you work on bringing it onto reality. Where do you get information about? Where do we get information about our system? I encourage everyone here working as a cybersecurity professional to do brand intelligence on your organization. It will give you a glimpse of what a threat actor can get. It gives you a glimpse of what information threat actor can get about you outside there, even without entering your internet, without entering your network, rather. Okay, so it's very, very okay. So these are some of the steps that you can take to integrate threat intelligence into security operations. So where will you go to? These are some of the sources. You can go to Surface Web, Google Docking your organization, your technologies. Let's see how weak, or let me say how transparent your internal network is on the web. Deep and dark web, it may even cut across different forums. And security blogs and articles are one of the great ones, especially when you have a very good inventory of your security applications and services. You can also use OSINT tools. It is not a must that it will be a paid one. You can use OSINT tools. There are some closed social media groups that you can belong to, both for the security professionals and for the threat actors. So when you get to the threat actors, you behave like them, you move like them. That's when you'll be able to get and fish out information from them. Then we have vendor applications like Cyber6Q, Recorded Future, Alien Vault, and the likes that you can gather indicator of compromise from. You can also use that. Now, These last two, I need to talk about it a bit more as I'm rounding up. When external, one of the sources is external, like your professional network, especially professionals, security professionals that you work in the same sector. You work in construction as a security professional. He also works in a construction as a security professional. Don't wait until an incident happens in your home before you ask your colleague, your professional friend, that what's going on in your network. Like, it's not like you are digging into their own network, but it's like asking them if there is any threat that he or she has been monitoring. It will give you a glimpse of what to look at for in your own environment as well. Internally, you can talk to your colleagues. You can even paste scenarios jokingly. Like, let's assume you get this so, for example, let me paste a scenario. You talk to a front desk officer in your organization, ask him or her that, let's assume you get an email from the CEO that you should download this particular attachment that is sent to your mail, and that you should not tell anybody. You can just create a kind of scenario to know about their security posture, their security strengths. So some of them will tell you, I will open, is it not CEO? It's CEO that sent it to me, I will just open it up. So that's when you know that, okay, you need to send out phishing assessment out to every employee or every staff that you have. You can talk to your colleagues. Okay, what are the things you have been working on of recent? Where do you go to? What are your experiences about internet, about our network? What are the things you use our network to do? Yes, I know you may not ask directly, but you can, build relationship and just jokingly send it out, and then you can get a whole lot of information from such sources. It may not necessarily be external, it is just internal. And I need to say this as a round up that threat intelligence is sweet when performed internally. The best and the rich source of threat intelligence is your network. Yes, is your network. Every other one is just secondary, but is your network. So try in as much as possible to do all of this. So this is the end of the presentation. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for that wonderful presentation. I mean, that was quite detailed, and I'm so sure our listeners have been able to learn a thing or two from that wonderful presentation. And I have to also mention that at Cyber Plural, we do a lot of these threat intelligence activities for organizations, not just in Nigeria, but Africa as a whole. And we do this and provide detailed reports of all of our findings as well. So, feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, and we'll be glad to engage you. Moving forward, please, if you have any questions, you can just put them on the chat box. So we take all of the questions at once. So I will call on Hamza to take us through, some of the prediction for Q3 as regards, the threats that were threats that globally now, not just in Nigeria, but global threats we should be looking at. Then we will also expect that, you go through some of the, the reports for the Q2, some of the cybersecurity incidents that, happened in Q2, so that we use that as a background for what we'll be expecting in Q3. Hamza, if you are there, you have the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. That was a very good presentation about the specs. So I'm going to continue from that point and to get us informed about what we should be expecting, especially this Q3, because from what we're putting together in Q2 of 2022, we've seen a lot of serious vulnerability that was discovered, and bad guys are taking a very big advantage vulnerabilities, especially the ransomware threat actor. And most of what we've seen today, most of them are following the trends of activities that could report to the fallout of the crisis that is going on in Ukraine. So a lot of new tools are uh, showing up due to the fact that this is the initial state crisis, and a lot of people that are coming crowdsourcing different resources of the dark web to ensure that they can do one or two things. So some of these tools, some of these violations products are already getting down to our space in Africa. And if you check, I think in the report we had from the last time, we had a couple of organizations in Africa, they got it, especially Nigeria. I think the Red Nigeria, they had an incident that to transform where ShopRite holding that was also contained in our report. So imagine this trend. So the focus of the bad guy now, they are now moving on to, they feel like, oh, people in Africa are not really doing well. So they feel like, oh, they have opportunity. And, due to the fact that, yes, regulations is not that kind of serious here, especially if you look at what is happening in Europe and all of that, about the GDPR. So every company over there are trying to do a lot of things. The aspect of data protection and all of that, we've had few countries in Africa that are also doing some things around that, and now businesses are also trying to. So for the Q3, we're expecting that some of this trend will continue. Some of the bad guys are going to continue to leverage some of these vulnerabilities. So I'm going to be referring us to that report. I'm going to share the link as well. I'm going to share the link. So if we check this report, we are going to see some interesting stuff, especially that was captured in terms of vulnerabilities. And most of these vulnerabilities are products that are officially using our day-to-day running of our business, either as a business, as an individual, or even government offices that use some of these products. So these critical vulnerabilities, the bad guys are taking advantage of them, and not just from Q2. We have some of these vulnerabilities from Q1, even from Q4 of 2021. We had some of these vulnerabilities that still are pretty much around. Maybe some people have not patched it, some people have not followed up going about fixing them. So we employ organizations to look out for some of these things. And most importantly, backup is very good today. If the bad guys hit on it, you have to ensure that you continue to provide these services, you continue to provide your services. So how do we go from being it and being able to quickly come back to business? The only way is to have a serious backup in place. And now the ransomware team is rampaging like all across different sectors. So we've had a couple of we do a couple of engagement that have also revealed that there are a whole lot of disruptions in forums and underground rooms in the dark web today. So probably there's a whole lot of lunar threat actors that are out there. They are just doing things on their own, and they are just looking out for opportunities. So I am hoping that our businesses don't serve them that advantage. We don't put ourselves at the point where the bad guys just hit on us. So basically, in Nigeria, to be precise, we also noticed a couple of Cuba Strike framework, like some kind of malware that the bad guys used to leverage most of the time when they get into the network. They want to go around and do all sort of crazy stuff. So we noticed that some organizations that we've kind of attended to the incident there, kind of noticed some of these tools in place. So the kind of threat actors that are now focusing on Africa, they are not script killers. That's what I would say. These are people that are prepared and they're ready to make money out of the engagement. So I will recommend that, yes, we do well as a business to start looking out for things that has to do with we have to be looking out for things that has to do with how to manage, how to have a proper vulnerability management program. We need to kind of run awareness and look at how we can do proper network segmentation that is a whole lot. So these are some of the things that our services and cyber cater for. So we hope that yes, aside the fact that yes, we've been able to put out this prediction, we've been able to kind of tell you what to do. If you require any technicalities, you want our services in terms of maybe you want to kind of outsource some of these things for us, we can then definitely able to manage all of this. So this is basically what we have in this section for today. We hope that by the time we come at the end of this quarter, we'll be able to have some kind of beautiful things from Nigeria, from Africa as a whole and globally. So I hope that we also engage on our parts, like either individually as a business. If you want to have any conversation around some of these things that we've discussed, especially in order to put you ahead, like to keep you proactive in the area of your security, always contact us. Thank you very much. I'm going to give the mic back to Sam.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hamza, for that quick overview of what we should be expecting in Q3, right? But a quick one, I know you mentioned that, the kind of attacks we're experiencing here in Nigeria are no longer coming from mere scripts kiddies, right? Would you say that we are experiencing some form of APT as well in Nigeria?
I think what is happening today is more of there's this cascading approach to this concept of crime, especially the cyber crime. So the concept of ransomware, the way they run their stuff, kind of there's a kind of escalated stages that they've defined in such a way that we have some people that are working as operators, we have some people that are working as affiliates, and they've designed the whole scheme in such a way that okay, regardless of where you work in that scheme, you can make money. So some APT groups are definitely working on some of these ransomware checkout. So when they are able to have access, they can sell that to them in the dark web. And so there is a very huge collaboration that we've noticed around these threat groups, those ones that are categorized, those ones that we don't talk about. We know that, yes, from the conversations we've been seeing on the dark web, on different forums, yes, there is a relationship. So definitely the APT guys are also, some of them are nation states, and they might be looking out for access that they can keep at 0 day, and maybe they want to use in the future in the period of war and all of that. So there is that relationship, and immediately we started noticing the introduction of some products, some malicious tools. We feel like, okay, this is not, this thing is because some of these products, imagine you are looking at a malware that costs $7,000 to get the license, and you are seeing the bad guys bringing it into your network. So it's definitely going to be that, yes, there is somebody funding them somewhere else. There is a very bigger motivation that they are bringing on board.
Okay, thank you very much for that response, Hamza. That's actually very valid, because an attacker who is willing to go as far as acquiring a tool worth over thousands of dollars, of course, is not coming to joke, absolutely. And we can actually link that to some APT groups as well. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, I have this question again for you, Hamza. What do you think is, as a country, what do you think is our readiness level to these predictions you've made for Q3?
Oh, okay. Okay, if I will answer that, I will say we are not doing bad as a country. We are not doing bad, but we need to do more, because most of us we have been doing, like from some of the survey we've kind of conducted over time, we've seen a lot of trying to kind of prescribe security solutions to themselves without having to understand the exact problem or the exact the assets they are trying to protect. And when you do that, you tend to spend a lot of money. You tend to kind of do things as if you are guessing. So what we just hope to see as we move on, a situation whereby organizations want to take this serious, like it's going to be like they have this governance aspect, they have this management aspect, and everybody's trying to play their role. So this is what we are optimistic of seeing as we go by. But currently, what we have is just a sort of hope. The government said we should do this, or we need to coordinate with this regulation, we need to comply with this. That's why most people are kind of. But on the part of the private sector, we've seen a whole lot of improvement compared to what we had in the past 2 years or 3 years. But on the part of the government, we are still hoping that yes, there is going to be that motivation from them by maybe having to put some kind of forms of budgetary allocations to security and having the right guys to handle that. These are some of the things that we see as we get projections. And we've had on the couple of people that are doing things around, how do I call that? Several projects that are out there today. Most of the projects we've seen online are more focused on awareness, community projects like those that are being handled by several professions. And we've seen some other projects that are focused on maybe security, vulnerability reporting, and all of that. So we hope to see more of this as we proceed, and we hope to get to have more business executives to buy into security. Those are some of the things I want to see. But if to kind of give us a mark at this currency, I would say maybe we're at something 45-50%. We still have a long way to go, and we still have to kind of imbibe in the culture of collaboration, because what we are all doing now is more of everybody acting on their own silo kind of implementation. So, and this is a war. We are talking about cyber warfare and all of that. We are talking about people that are thousands of miles away from you, and they are trying to cause a pain in your own locality and all of that. So the only way we can do this and win is when we come together as one. Imagine Elizabeth talked to all the cyber threat intelligence. If we kept on going online and tell people what we see every now and then, it's going to be like, no, are you sure this is happening? Are you sure this is happening? Because it's going to be strange to people. But I'm telling you, all these things are happening. We have some of this intelligence, but the kind of responses we get when we kind of put them out, people are kind of feeling like maybe, you've invested so much. How will you come back and tell us that you see something on us? But security is definitely not higher. So we hope all of this will change. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Hamza, for that detailed response. There is need for collaboration. We can continue to work in silos if we really want to, tackle cyber warfare heads-on as a country. Also, Elizabeth referenced that during the course of our presentation as well. This question is for you, Elizabeth, and I'd like you to just do this in 1 minute. Do you think there is enough level of awareness as regards threat intelligence in Nigeria or Africa?
No, I don't believe that. Because whenever I train people on threat intelligence, their fear is they don't seem to get job role online, like people organization advertising for vacancy and all that in threat intelligence. So they were like, what other things can we now do as a threat intelligence analyst? So I think that is one beautiful thing I like about the last, they just concluded CSAN conference, that they invited an expert in threat intelligence. So I'm hoping that this will come up very fast and people will be more aware of cyber threat intelligence as a career, even here in Africa and especially in Nigeria. Yes, so that's my thoughts aloud on that. And then I think one of the reasons for that is because of job overloading. many SOC analysts are acting as the same thing as a threat intel. They're acting as the same thing as incident responder. So job overloading did not allow organizations to look into specialized roles like this, like threat intelligence. So I believe if we create more awareness on threat intelligence, and then we talk more on reducing workload on security professionals, it's going to help a whole lot to create more job growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. You don't think we are doing enough awareness when it comes to threat intelligence as a country? That's duly noted. And I also think that a lot of people mistake threat hunting for threat intelligence as well. That is also, because I've seen that happen a lot. A lot of people will tell you, I'm a threat hunter, I'm a threat intelligence. They just try kind of mix everything up. And I think that has also caused a lot of problem for us in the health security ecosystem. Anyways, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to our presenters, Hamza, Latif, and Elizabeth Olajumoke. It's really been a wonderful time with you all, and I want to again thank you for joining, and we'll see you in the next quarter. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.